Here we have a new 2023 Cadillac Escalade ESV. This one comes in the luxury trim level in black raven on jet black perforated leather interior. And our powertrain consists of a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And this is going to be pretty much the lowest trim level you can get in an Escalade, but still tons that come on it. You get LED headlamps, LED signature running lights there, and they don't flash like that. That's just how my camera's picking them up. But still looks absolutely fantastic. And then down here we have 22-inch 14-spoke aluminum wheels. We get passive keyless entry on the front doors. And then we have 3-stage heated seats that we can either heat the seat back or the seat back and seat bottom. Power door lock controls. And then we have our memory seat functions here, power window controls with one-touch automatic up and down for the front, rear window lock, and then we have our power mirror controls here, and then we can decide which side and turn it off. And then power folding mirrors. Now over here we have our 4-wheel drive controls, our drive modes, which we get 5 of those, as you can see there. And then we have our electronic parking brake. Just press that to engage, hit the button, or hit the brake, and then press it again to disengage. Now with this luxury, we still get a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And then here we have our power driver seat. And this one has 2-way power lumbar support. But I have that seat up front adjusted for my driving position being 6'3" with longer legs. So let's check out this space in the second row. About fell. So awesome space back here. Knees are probably 1 inch or 2 from the back of the seat there. And we do have seat back pockets on both sides. And then we have our 3-stage heated seats here. You can adjust that. And then we have our rear AC controls here. So fan speed is here, temperature is here, fan direction here. Or auto is there, I'm sorry, and then fan direction is here. So we can toggle that on and off. We can toggle it on, then we use the fan speed and we can dial it down. But pretty easy system to use once you get the hang of it. And then we have cup holders here. And then we have a 3-prong household plug in there. I think it's 120 volt, and then 2 USB-C charge ports there. We do get the premium dome lights and map lights throughout. And we have a hanger hook here, probably hang 3 or 4 hangers. Grab bar here. I'm going to make my way to the third row so we can check out that leg space. And pretty impressed back here. My knees are just barely touching the back of the seat, but I can move them easily. It's like they're just scrubbing against there. So space is very, very good. Then we have a USB-C port here, cup holder and storage here. And then the same goes for this side over here. And you can hit this button whether you're up front or back here, and then you can fold the seat basically into the floor. And then you can either put your legs up if you want to, or have additional storage. And pretty easy to fold it back up. And I'll show you how we can move it back and forth. Grab this here, pull it all the way back, and you're good to go again. If you need it for a passenger, and then you can hit this twice as well, and it'll fold into the floor that way if you don't want to use that behind the seat belt. Now fuel filler is going to be in here. Premium is recommended with the 6.2 liter. And coming around to the back end here, we do have our LED tail lamps as well. Great look. And then spares underneath there, dual exhaust. And then open the power lift gate, hit that there. Space in here. And then we do have a power folding third row. So that's just with that down. And then I'll show you with the third row down. And then the second row, seat tumble down. Look at all that space you get as opposed to the second row up. Tons and tons of storage. So that's pretty impressive with this ESV. But this is a big boy, definitely, but I love the looks of it. Absolutely love. And here's our front passenger seat. It's power with two-way power lumbar support. Great storage pocket here with a 12-volt. And then we have a lockable glove compartment here. Plenty of space there. I'm gonna turn this down, it's getting a little loud. And I love the trim here. That faux wood grain looks fantastic. It might be real, I don't know, but it's glossed over, but it looks super, super good. But a huge shout out to Cadillac of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this Escalade ESV today. I'll leave a link below for it in the description, as well as their entire new car inventory. But here, all the standard features and equipment that you get, and there's so much. Only stickers for $88,590. But again, all in all, a great looking SUV. And for me, if you don't need, the only thing this is missing is gonna be the cooled seats. Other than that, I think it has everything that I would want on it. Well, let's take a quick look in the engine bay. There's that 6.2 liter V8, mostly covered up. But now let's hop in the driver's seat. So heated leather wrap steering wheel here, excuse me. Nice feel. Padding reminds me of the Yukon XL. The Platinum, I feel like, had a little bit of a thicker steering wheel, but this is still good. Now over here to this OLED screen, we do have AM, FM, and then XM radio, along with Bluetooth audio. I didn't know the radio was on this whole time. And we also have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility. The navigation screen is coming up. First time this vehicle has been turned on, or the first time the nav's been on, so it's loading all of that. And then you can go to the search here. You have shortcuts, whether you need to find a train, a bus, a hotel, parking, whatever. And then for gas, you hit fuel. You can sort by brands, and it'll show you pricing, distance away, or you can just use all fuel station and compare the cheapest price if you want to do that. And then you can save recents, favorites. Now, my favorite thing about this, and I've said this in other Escalade reviews, is the vehicle information. You get so much more than I've seen in any other vehicle at the palm of your fingertips, or palm of your hands. I don't know why I keep saying that today, but just so much to see there, and everything's nice and crystal clear. And then this is the home page here. You have the rear climate controls you can control from the screen. And then you have ambient lighting as well if you want to use that, a video recorder. So there's that. And then let me go to the settings. So if you ever need to find anything, display, sounds, voice, phone projection, this will be important. Make sure that's on. And then if you ever want to turn on team driver, buckle drive, all that is right there. And pretty easy to connect your phone. Just go on the phone and then you can connect, and then your settings are there. Backup camera's there. And then here's your front camera, wide angle, get an overhead view, curbside view. It's a 360 view, and then you can pick a side you want to see. So pretty nice. And then down here you have your dual zone automatic climate controls, buttons and knobs, temperature, and then you can sync there, and you can actually unsync, which is nice. Now for auto mode, you do have to actually turn the fan speed down to get that off, and then click one of these here if it's set it all auto for where the air is coming from. And then the toggle for on and off is there. You have an automatic brake hold behind the shifter, an auto stop toggle, and a lane keep assist with lane departure toggle there. And then to shift the 10 speed, grab this lever, pull down for drive, tap for low, tap up for neutral, hit this, pull up for reverse, press P for park. And then you have shortcuts for everything here. So vehicle information, nav, music, phone. This is a volume knob, and then this is like a scroll knob to go through the radio. So it's pretty nice. You get used to it after a while. And then home button, back button, hazards. USB-C, USB-A input, storage, 2 cup holders. You can stow all that away. Again, love the trim here though. Wireless charging pad is right in here. And then you have a center console cubby space. Navigation uses that SD card reader. Then you have a USB-C, USB-A input. Removable tray, tons of space in there. Looks like a black hole. And there's a view of the back from up here. Universal home remote for the garage doors, and then you can power fold that third row from up here, and then this is for your power lift gate, which you can control from up here as well. And then back to the steering wheel. Cruise controls are here. Forward collision alert, and then voice recognition controls. Hearing assistant is here. And then we have our track list, radio station presets there, mute, volume controls, and then these are shortcuts for music and phone, which is what you'll more than likely use. And then you can use this to scroll through your stations or whatever you have up there on the screen. And I have the AR camera up there, and to turn that, all I have to do is click here, and then I can either turn on the gauge cluster or the maps there. So this is a fun little tool, keeps track of your trips. Now behind the steering wheel on the left side, headlamp controls, auto high beam toggle is gonna be hitting this button on the side here, blinkers, and then paddle shifters are behind the steering wheel too. Your windshield wiper controls, one time you have automatic windshield wipers, so you can adjust the sensitivity there, and then low, high, and then your rear wipers are here. Pull back for rear wiper fluid, push up for front wiper fluid. One more quick look at that digital gauge cluster. I think it's like 14 or 14.2 inches or something. Here's the push button start. And here's the key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this Escalade ESV out on the road for a quick test drive. So I just drove an Escalade Platinum earlier. Riding this is still very nice, but just not as good as the Escalade Platinum I drove that had the air suspension in it. So that ride was about a 9.8, I said. I'd say this is about a 9, maybe a 9.2. It's still smooth, it's just not as smooth as with the air suspension. And I also feel like this one just feels a bit heavier than, which it is heavier, so, but this ESV just drives a bit heavier with the same powertrain than the shorter wheelbase Escalade I just drove. I'm gonna put it in a sport mode and see how it does. Well, there it is. Test out these paddles a little bit. And I like that the low gear actually shifted for me. Now, I said earlier that I wouldn't do anything else with this. I didn't know it didn't have standard adaptive cruise. So that's the only thing that this is missing, because you do get the standard lane keep assist with lane departure, but I'd like to have the adaptive cruise control to go with it. But overall, like I said, ride quality, now that I'm on the interstate, I'd say it's a 9.2, still silky smooth, but it's just something about that air suspension, how it soaks up all the bumps. But still, phenomenal ride coming down the interstate here. And very little wind noise. But overall, I just like how this drives. Brake pedal feels good. It's strong, but you have to put your foot down into it so that it doesn't rock you. So I'm glad they're not super touchy. So back in the tour mode here, super mellow ride here, which is what most people who are getting one of these, that's what you're going to use most of the time. You're not going to need your sport mode because you're going to be hauling 6-7 kids in luxury, whether it's your own kids or your kids and their friends, so probably don't want to be in sport mode pushing this thing to its limit. But if you ever are having one of those mischievous days after you dropped everybody off at school, getting your cup of coffee and feel like getting all your 420 plus horses out of this thing, you can do that. But what this is mostly for is luxury. And this, even in this lowest trim level, the luxury Escalade ESV, you still get so much. So having this OLED screen, navigation, wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, even though these aren't perforated seats, the leather still feels fantastic in these, just having the heated seats in them. So everything is still quite luxurious. And if you're going from a Tahoe to this Escalade ESV, you're probably going to be pretty impressed. But if you're going from a Grand Wagoneer to one of these, you might miss your cooled seats or available massage functions, panoramic sunroof. So just keep that in mind. Now, of course, this is going to be cheaper because this is a longer wheelbase SUV, and it is only, I think, $90,000 I said the stickers for. And again, you get so much with that. But if you're looking at an Expedition Max, King Ranch, or Platinum, or if you're looking at one of the bigger SUVs with tons of space behind the third row, definitely make sure you look at this Escalade, the Yukon XL, the Suburbans, because the ride is so good, even in the lowest trims, without air suspension, without active ride damping, magnetic ride, all of that. So again, just make sure this is on your list if you're looking at something in this price range. But this will bring me to the end of my review of the new 2023 Cadillac Escalade ESV in the luxury trim level.